putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. There's no substitution for the American mind, the way we think, American ingenuity, letting people dream, teaching them how to expand their imaginations. I tell you guys, I do this with my youngest son. I did it with my older kids too, but I did it with my youngest son, who's home, and I challenge him to use his mind. You know, and what's funny is it's easy for him to close it off. It's easy to allow it to happen, but you go, nope, I'm not going to let you. I challenge him. Write me a story, make up something. Let's play a game where I start a subject, you start it, and we keep this subject going. Things like that to make him quick on his feet, to think about things differently. He gets every advantage that I didn't have in growing up, and I think I came out pretty well. Anyway, before this gets too far into the week, I want to talk about the Chicago shootings, not because, I'm not going to make fun of it. It's easy to make fun of. It's repetitive. We know it's going to happen. Big deal. It's actually sad. It's, again, one of these things that's a statement of liberalism. It points the finger directly at leftism because it's a problem that they know they're going to have and they're never going to solve. You want to know why? Because they don't have the processes in place to solve it. They're idiots. Chicago is close to recording its 600th homicide for the year. Only the second time the city will have reached this grim milestone since 2003. This is according to data that's kept by the Chicago Tribune and where I'm actually getting the data from and reading part of this article. They said after a weekend where more than 30 people were shot, 5 of them fatally, the number of homicides stands at 593. That's a lot of homicides. Now, that's below the homicide level they had last year, which was 681 homicides at this particular time. But it's substantially over the previous years. So if you look at in the time of Rahm Emanuel, Chicago has been the most this has been the most deadly period of Chicago in quite some time. Now, juxtapose that to when Barack Obama was president. One of the most deadliest periods in America's history was when Barack Obama was president. And the unfortunate thing is not only was he presiding over the worst time for Chicago homicides in America in general, but he exported terrorism in the form of homicides and things that inhumanity, man's inhumanity to man. He exported it around the world to where on his watch there were over 7,000 jihadi attacks around the world on his watch. That doesn't include things like the amount of terror that comes in the form of rape and molesting of women, sex trafficking and all that. It's escalated at the minimum geometrically and probably exponentially if you want to look at the data. So when you think about what leadership does, I always point back to Obama and I contrast that with Donald Trump. In most things that we're measuring, there's not enough time that's gone by for us to do a complete compare and contrast. But you get an idea. The first year of Donald Trump's gone by, and I will tell you this. Illegal immigration's down. Muslim refugees and illegals coming into the country's gone down. You're going to see the crime rate go down. You're going to see the number of police who are killed in the line of duty go down. And then you're going to start to see the good indicators. Consumer confidence going up. You're going to see things like the unemployment rate dropping, businesses bringing more dollars and innovation back into the economy, and a host of other things that are ancillary benefits to all these different policies that Trump is proposing. And hopefully we can shrink this budget. A $4 trillion budget is ridiculous. It doesn't matter how much money we bring in. A $4 trillion budget is far too much. Anyway, I don't know what the numbers in Chicago's homicides are going to be but in the next years under Trump, but here's what I can tell you. He's threatened to send the National Guard to help. He's going to start listening to black pastors and people in the community, the black community, and saying, guys, I'm going to take a look at this issue. It's too serious. And he will get on Rahm Emanuel's butt. And here's my prediction. next year, Chicago murder rate will go down substantially. That's my prediction. And it'll continue to drop. The murder rate, the violent crime rate in America is going to go down. It's going to go down for two reasons. One, because we're going to have a law and order president. And two, people are going to be too busy to be committing the types of crimes that they've been committing. And for the reasons, perhaps, that they've been committing them. Because people are going to go back to work. They said last year's gun violence in Chicago was at levels not recorded since the 1990s. This year's not been as bad, but the last time the city hit 600 homicides was 2003, and that was for the entire year, according to statistics kept by the Chicago Police Department. So they're about to hit 600 now in Chicago, and they're saying, other than last year, it hadn't been this bad since 2003. They said the city of Chicago's homicide count is 581 because, unlike the Tribune, it does not count homicides on expressways as well as fatal shootings by police officers and homicides considered justified. They said the shootings have shown the same trend. I'm going to get to my reasoning for wanting to cover this. This year's trails last, but not other recent years. Nearly 3,200 people have been shot so far in 2017, down from the 3,800 shot this time last year. That's compared to 2,609 at this time in 2015, roughly 2,200 in 2014, 1,900 in 2013, and 2,100 in 2012. So here's the data. Other than the 2012-13 where it went down, you can almost look at how in the time of Obama and Rahm Emanuel, the Chicago murder rate and the shootings have escalated year after year, and dramatically so. And they've done nothing, causing Spike Lee to even say, come on, folks. It's tough for me to defend you when you're letting black people die in the record numbers that you have. But here's what I wanted to get to. Among those shot over the past weekend was a 14-year-old boy who was grazed in the right foot and leg on a Saturday afternoon. He and a 22-year-old man were fired at from a black sedan in the 2200 block of South Oakley Avenue at the West Side's Heart of Italy neighborhood. I don't know who these people are. I don't know whether they're black, white, or Italian or whatever. But somebody in a black sedan just shot him walking. Were they gangbangers? Were they people dealing drugs on a corner where a rival gang is coming to? I don't know. I have none of the answers. But I do know this. If we look at it through the innocent eyes of the average person in this country, here's what you might think. Two brothers are walking along, age 22 and 14. Maybe the older brothers come back from college and they're walking after going to get a Coke together or something, and somebody drives by and, just for whatever reason decides to shoot them. Is that the scenario? It's a possibility. I don't know. Or here's another scenario. Two people, both drug dealers, 14-year-old, which, by the way, a 14-year-old in the hood is not 14. He's 32. And a 22-year-old man who maybe was a shot caller or whatever was with him, or one of the members of the gang, older members of the gang, and they were coming back, going to meet up at the gang territory. Both scenarios are just as tragic. For those of you who are, Kevin, you don't know. No, I don't know. Here's another one. In another double shooting last Saturday night, a 37-year-old woman was killed while attending a party to celebrate what would have been the birthday of a man killed in August as he left the Cook County Criminal Courthouse. A 25-year-old man was also shot and injured. So think about this. A 37-year-old woman is celebrating the birthday of a guy who would have been celebrating his birthday had he not been killed in August as he left Cook County Criminal Courthouse. What is that for irony? What does the left have to say for all of this? Russia? As Pete joked with me on Friends when I was co-hosting, Russia, Kevin. Russia. But Pete, they're killing people in black neighborhoods. Russia, Kevin. But Pete, do you understand that the left doesn't seem to care about black-on-black crime and the crime that is rampant throughout Chicago and the other inner city? Kevin, it's Russia. I get it, Pete. I got it then. That's all they care. They don't care about the truth about these issues, the things that we want to solve. They don't care about that stuff at all. And this is why you listen to programs like mine. This is why you volunteer and do the things that you do to help people, because you really want to make a difference. The left doesn't, and I think that's what we find most disturbing. Folks, I got to leave it there. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.